Hi, this is Graham. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a black and white or monochrome image from a full colour image. To make an extremely good and striking black and white image, it's a lot more complicated than it sounds. I'm going to show you an example. This is the image I'm going to start with, just something I found on Google, and this is what I came up with. There's a few ways of actually getting a black and white image. Probably the simplest way, and the way most people do it, is just to come down here to create a new fill or adjustment layer, go into hue and saturation and just turning the saturation down. Now it does give you a black and white, but if you look at the difference between the two, this one is a lot better than that, and you lose some of the detail sometimes. Like in the center of the flower here, you can see that it's quite dull and there's not a lot of detail in there, but in this one there's a lot more detail and it's a lot darker. So I'm just going to get rid of the hue saturation layer, and I'm going to show you how I made the other image. I'm going to go to channels, and I'm just going to look at the channels and see what the different channels look like. Red, that doesn't look good at all, hardly any contrast, and as you can see in the middle of the flower there's like absolutely no colour whatsoever. It's actually pretty much a pure white. The green channel, that's getting a bit more like it. There's some detail in the flower, but it's still quite light, not really that much contrast. In the blue channel there's a lot of contrast, but the centre of the flower is actually too dark now, and that also loses some of the detail. Bearing this in mind, just going to go back to my layers and then go to layer, new adjustment layer, and where is it? Channel mixer. And as you can see, there's a new layer come up here, channel mix layer. Right, I'm just going to take this box down here, monochrome, turns it black and white. Now, using the information that I got from the layers that I looked at, now red wasn't very good, so I'm going to turn the red down a bit. Gets a bit darker, and I like the green and the blue channels, turn them up, and as you can see it's looking quite nice, and there's a lot of detail still remaining in the center of the flower, maybe a bit darker. Just got to play around with them until it looks right. And these three values here, it's best to keep them adding up to somewhere around 100 to keep what the original image looked like. I'm just going to have a quick play around with these. I'm going to pause it quickly. Okay, that's looking about right now. The colours are quite similar now, the darks and the lights, but as you can see in this photo, the water's still quite light, and I didn't really like that. So what I did in this one is, rather than actually changing the image itself, because I wanted to show in this tutorial how you can change a image into black and white when working in a really non-destructive way, because the channel mixer is actually a new layer, so it doesn't affect the original layer. In this image that I made beforehand, if I turned off all these layers, then there you've got your original image. So what I did to make the water darker is this layer here is just filled with black in the areas where the water is, and then I set the set this to soft light. I've left the opacity and fill still at 100, but it just lets some of the lights through. So I'm going to do that with this one now. The way I selected the water is I just took my magnetic lasso tool and just went round the edges of all the lily pads, down this stem here all the way around. Just worked around the edges of all the water, and you can take more time over this. Worked all the way around. You get the idea. Just went round and until I got my selection. I'm just gonna pause the video and just do that quickly. Okay, that's my selection done. I've selected all this area here, and I've selected the little bit of water that's coming over the lily pad here, and this little bit of water that's showing at the back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush, quite a large size, make sure my foreground colour is set to black, and just paint in all this with black. And obviously, as I have it selected, I only paint where my selection is. Now I'm going to deselect that and go to soft light, and there you have it. That's how I created this image. So I hope this tutorial helps you make more striking black and whites. If you have any questions, message me, or if you have any requests for future tutorials, just let me know and I'll see what I can do.